Well, hello and good morning from California. It is Thursday, December 23rd, 2021, and this video is to show off not this guy, but this guy, the Hewlett Packard 8640B RF signal generator. I am selling this on eBay currently, and just wanted to show some of the features and give some sort of video representation that it is working quite nicely, very nicely actually. Right now it's locked on a frequency of 10.100 and my spec an is showing it 5 hertz off, up 7. My equipment is still warming up, so forgive me, it is going to drift a little bit. And that tiny amount of noise that you're seeing there is because there's a little bit of noise with the signal, because it is a weak signal. And there it is. If you can see that tiny little blip in the center of the screen, that is because this signal generator is currently sitting at minus 110 dBm output. And so right now I just wanted to show that it is putting out even in the low mode. I can go to minus 120, however it won't show on the spectrum analyzer. In fact, if I go there, it's just a bunch of noise. But there it is. In fact, if you can see that, I'll turn off the RF output and you'll see that signal disappear. And there it goes. And of course, all the noise deviation, the deviation of the noise goes away with it. And there's the signal again. So she is putting out signal down there. And I did run some tests down to 500 kilohertz, and she is putting out power down there, and I'll do that here briefly. But I just wanted to show you here at 10 megahertz that she's working quite nicely. Now the spectrum analyzer is a R2670B. It's calibrated. It is running off an external 10 megahertz standard. So we will hopefully get some good readings out of it. So let me run this thing down to, we'll use the frequency set here. In fact, we'll turn the RF off and we'll run this down. Whoops, take it off lock. And we'll go to, there's 600 kilohertz. We'll run her down to 500. And again, I apologize for the shaky camera. I'll try to make this video as quick as possible. So I'm gonna do a 500 even, and I'll round that down. And I'll go up and I'll set the spec an to 0.5, whoops, not 5 megahertz. And we do have quite a bit of noise there. But we're gonna do our best to try to get a good signal in there. So keep an eye on that spectrum display. In fact, let me expand that a little bit if I can. I'm gonna expand this. And there she is. And we're gonna go ahead and throw a signal in it at 110. And let's crank the squelch down. Well, there's the minus, if I put my finger in the picture. Sorry for the shaky. So there's my signal right there. That is her. Let me get rid of my pointer and I'll show it to you. That's minus 100 dBm at 500 kilohertz. I'll shut it off. It goes away. And I'll run her up a little bit. There's neg 90, neg 60, and we'll have to kick in some attenuation here in a minute. Let me go back to my regular screen and let's get some attenuation in here. 20 dB down. There's neg 40, neg 30, neg 20. And I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna run it into the RF input output jack, which is this guy right here. I'm ready to go RF input because she'll take more signal there, and turn the signal back on. Let's see where we at here. We're getting signal. Let's turn the attenuator off. There we go. So now we're at negative 20. And we're pretty close. Well, she's flickering a little over 18 there. There's negative 10. That's pretty blurry. There's 0 dBm. And now we'll throw some attenuation into it. And we'll take this up a little higher. There's 20 dB of signal. And pretty close, I'd say. And she's pretty good on frequency. She's 10 hertz off. That's because I didn't really align her, so let's bring her back in. And we'll lock it in here in a second. There's 0, and we'll lock it on. Okay, so we're locked on 500 hertz, 500 kilohertz. And we're at plus 20 dBm, and we've got a nice signal there. And for my Raycal Dana frequency counter, she's really bang on. Well, okay, she's not bang on, but she's, what are we talking about? 3.4 hertz off? Or 0.34 hertz off. Yeah, 0.34 hertz. Okay. And she does have good modulation. I will show you that. We'll take this up through the frequency ranges. So we're at 500. We'll bring her over to, we'll turn her off, shut the signal off, and bring her up to get some signal, a little higher frequency range. And we'll go back up to 10 megahertz, excuse me. We'll go 10.1. And why am I using 10.1? Well, because there is a birdie right at 10 that my signal generator likes to mix with this, that my spectrum analyzer likes to mix with the signal generator. So we'll go 10.1, and we'll set the signal generator. Wow, haven't had enough coffee this morning, folks. My spectrum analyzer to 10.100. Throw some to 0 dBm, run the signal generator level way down to minus 110. Switch inputs. We'll go to the antenna input. And there's my signal. There she is. Super tiny. You can see her, right? I can get my pointer on the screen right there. There's the signal. Spectrum analyzer really isn't designed to look at signals that weak. If I go to neg 120, it disappears, but it is there. That is my signal. And let's get it on frequency. Okay, we're at 10.1, and you'll see that signal disappear, and it disappears. But that is the signal. And we'll crank her up a little bit, give her a little more signal. There's negative 100, neg 90. And there's negative 70, negative 60, neg 50. We'll throw some attenuation on it. We'll go 20 dB down. And we'll leave it there. So we're at neg 40. Spectrum analyzer says neg 40. We're 6 hertz off. Can't quite get enough of a signal to wake up the Raycal Dana, so we'll leave it at that for the time being. But now I want to show you that the modulation generator does work. We'll start with a FM modulation. So we'll just turn the FM modulation on. There she is. And we'll take her down to the modulation scope. Whoops. Let's go back up. And there she is. Pretty clean. And we're at a max, so we're in the 0 to, let's see where we are here. 0 to 3 scale for FM. And we're showing 4 kilohertz of deviation on the scope. And where are we at here? Look at that. In the 0 to 10 range, we're bang on 4. Not too shabby. So, meter on the 8640B agrees with the spectrum analyzer. Their deviation to 4 kilohertz. Not too shabby. And of course, we can crank that up if we want. We can go to 6 as best we can. Spectrum analyzer does agree. We'll bring it back down. This is a pretty clean signal. And now we'll turn that off and we'll go to AM. So let me switch the spectrum analyzer to an AM read. And we'll select AM. And we'll go over here to AM. And we'll crank her down. Now we're going to be reading percentage. So let me press the AM metering. And we're going to go up for a percentage of, let's see, 1 to 10. We'll say it's times 10. So we're at 20%, thereabouts. And my percent AM modulation says 20%. Okay, I'm very happy with that. And we'll go up to 30%. Yeah, okay. There's 31. Hard to get it quite right. Exactly. But as you can see, it does have really good modulation. And then we'll turn that off. So there we have it. And then we'll go back to level. So the metering circuit is working quite nicely. Now we're showing the level output in volts. Right now we're at neg 40, which is 3 millivolts. And let's see if we can get a better read on that with the spectrum analyzer. I realize that this video is going a little long. We'll try to shorten it up here. And we'll go volts. So there we're at 2.2 millivolts. And that's not quite right. So that's 3. Let's crank her down a little bit. There's 2 millivolts. Yeah, we're reading 1.4. What are we doing differently? So let's go over here. FM. All right, we're at negative 40. Neg 40. There we go. Now we're gonna have to start punching in some attenuation according to this. But there you have it, folks. She's working. This particular signal generator was refurbished by an engineer who specialized in refurbishing of the 8640 series signal generators. He went through the entire thing, he did a complete alignment on it, replaced all of these knobs, replaced all of the gears inside, and like I said, cleaned it up as best he could. This is an older piece of test equipment, so it has a few scratches, but its overall condition is very nice. I'd give it about an 8.5 out of 10. If not a 9. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. It does have the newer LED display, not the dot matrix display. So you'll get that as well. It does have options 001 and 003. And 003, if I remember, is the reverse power protection. 001 is the modulation frequency adjustment. So Let's go back to FM for just a second, and we'll change. Let's see if we can change it. We've got a fix. There's 400. Here we go. So we can adjust this. I don't use this control often, so it's a little dirty. But as you can see, we can align and we can change the frequency output. So that's the other option it has, is the ability to vary the modulation, and then it does have the standard 1 kilohertz fixed and 400 hertz fixed. Okay. And there you have it. The 8640B signal generator, up for sale. I hate to let this one go. It is one of my favorites, but it's been replaced, and I just want to find a really good home, somebody that appreciates these older signal generators, especially ones that are in this great of shape and working condition and alignment. And as you can see from the spectrum analyzer, she is electronically functioning to factory specifications. Talk to you later.